What's up, folks? Coming to you from the workshop today. I'm going to do a video on excess materials, what I keep, what I throw away. Some of this stuff I've had for years, some of it I use on occasion. I'm really at the point of wondering what I need to keep. I usually go through and purge this a couple times a year, so this is kind of what I keep in my shop. I do not carry all this in my truck, and I found over the years there's only a handful of things I need to keep extra in my truck. It does kind of help to have all kinds of crap on site with you, but you're charging the customer for the materials anyway, so most of my excess materials end up getting used for home projects, or if I got like a inspection repair list, I will go through my excess materials and get what little I think I might need for that job. But this is kind of how I organize it. So I've got all my extra nuts and bolts over here, part of them anyway. These are like the cases of sinkers, and that bottom box is full of drywall nails, roofing coil nails, just excess nuts and bolts. Screws for my Simcoe screw gun, or strong tie screw gun. Stuff up top's farm stuff. In here I keep like my tape. I got my chainsaws down there. Most of those I need to throw away. They aren't worth 20 cents after you use them initially. Caulks, spray cans, stains. Try to keep all my chemicals in this little area. Got some other stuff, paint cleaner, lacquer thinner, paint sprayer cleaner, stuff like that. So this is kind of my chemical material area. Keep it under lock and key. I usually have a couple toddlers in here playing that I don't want getting into this. I've got some bins down there. One of those buckets is just full of hinges that I've pulled off jobs over the years. Another one's got a bunch of metal brackets, just various crap I've gotten over the years. It's a bag of sandblasting material that doesn't work, at least not in the cheap Harbor Freight container that I bought. I bought these metal bins, they're metal frames, but they're plastic bins. I bought them off Amazon and I love them. Previously I just had a huge, I don't remember what it was in before, a couple buckets that all my nuts and bolts were in. And I finally took the time and went through and kind of sorted them by wood screws, drywall screws, nails, washers, nuts. It saves a ton of time. Because to be honest, most of the time I get tired of looking through the tons of crap and just end up going to Lowe's or Home Depot and buying what I need instead of digging through what I had. So it's definitely worth it to take the time and dig through what you got. This is all up top is some fans, work lights, and then there's a bunch of excess. There's a bunch of bulbs and that one back there, T12s, T18s that I've pulled out over the years. Some exhaust fans. Some of these, I may have had a customer that only had a broken shroud, or one piece of the fan was broken. I went and bought a cheap one because that was the best bet, and the rest of it's still in there. It's all brand new. So I keep some of that stuff because you never know when you're going to run into something. You can help a customer out by replacing one thing instead of buying the whole thing. But most of this is lighting material and work lights. This is electrical. So I went through it and sorted it out. I've got all my covers in here. I think that's soldering stuff. Exterior boxes. This has got switches in it. I've got another one with outlets in it. This is lighting kits, under-counter lighting kits, and then there's a couple fire detectors. Some Cat 5. I got a couple safety harnesses underneath here. This is my screen kit, so it's got rolls of screen. line in there, and a couple of the tools. I'm not gonna bother showing you that. There's some more outlet ceiling boxes. This just has HVAC gas stuff, so there's vent pipes in there, register vents. This big one's got a bunch of coiled wire in it, so it's got some 10-2 in there, I think. A couple things of 14-3, stuff like that. So I keep that. Most of that's for the house. Unless I've got some small job, I'll dig something out of there. This one here is full of drop cloths. Let's see. Move this out of the way. Over here, this has a bunch of old power tools in it. So different renditions I've bought over the years. The old ones are all in this box, and it's on rollers. So it's just old tools I used at one point in time. Half of them are broken. I've got them in case I need them, but it just kind of rolls out of the way. Safety equipment, of course, back in the corner where nobody can get to it. Got a bunch of knee pads, gloves, flashlights, stuff like that. Light bulbs, brace kits, or strong ties for roofing. Shelf brackets, that's a gas heater. That's for insulation rods. Home inspection job I did, I used those bottom ones. I try to sort it all out, that way when I'm coming in here to get something, so if I need concrete, all my concrete stuff's right here. So I've got a big trowel back there, my trowel's in a bucket, a couple pair of rubber boots, brush. Try to keep it all segmented out. This is my flooring area. I've also got some gutter and siding stuff. Wedges, so if you install those, get up here and show you. The newer wood plank flooring requires these little T brackets and wedges, and basically you set this underneath the tile. So you lay your tile right here on both sides, so your tile's here. Then you've got a tool that you slide this in. It fell, but it slides in between there, and then you take this tool and squeeze it up in there, and that levels the tile out. It's an extra expense for those type of floorings, but these are the ones that Home Depot carry. They're a smaller version of this. These are more professional grade, I guess. This has all my plumbing stuff in it. I've got a ton of these. These are one of those deals where I take it out of my truck when I'm cleaning on the weekend. I need it for a job, so I go get another one. I've probably bought 15 of those over the years. Got a plumbing snake. Most of this crap gets used in my house. Every once in a while I'll find something in here I need for a job. But most of this is just home stuff. Probably need to go through it and throw some stuff away. Every once in a while, like this was a faucet for a customer's job. She didn't like it, so I pulled it out. It wasn't but a couple years old, so I might use it one day. I don't know. That's usually what I end up keeping, is stuff I think I might need. Some of this stuff I probably need to just purge out and throw away. There's an old shower fixture. Just a bunch of crap. But like I said, I found it's easier, instead of putting it all in one spot, try to separate it out into bins or totes. That way, if you got a plumbing job coming up, you go to one spot and get all that plumbing stuff. This has all my trowels in it. So this is my ceramic tile floor box. This is wood flooring. Has my rubber mallets, all that stuff. I've went through this box on another video. This is just trials. There are probably 40 trials in there. Just different trials I've had over the years. Most of them I probably need to throw away, but I keep them. Don't know why. Cleaning stuff, a couple mop buckets, brushes, stuff like that. This tote's the same as that one, same size. This has painting materials in it, so I've got a ton of pans and brushes and rollers, all kinds of trim crap, and just anything relating to paint I put in here. So kind of helps if I'm doing a paint job. I can go directly to this tote, dig through it, get what I need, throw it back underneath here, and we're good to go. Keep my tile stuff here. So my big tile saw. There's my little tile saws, little tile brake. This is my paint stuff. So I had a video on my paint sprayers. That's where my paint stuff stays. Back here's drywall. I've got my drywall stilts, a couple of hoppers. There's actually 3 back in there. There's some handles for the, these are actually for painting. If I can do this without dropping this on my dang head. These little trials, I've got 3 or 4 of those. Keep my paint stuff back here, so different paints. Most of this is ceiling paint or trim paint, you know, something universal I can use on several jobs. Antique white, some real common colors that I see on jobs, so I don't have to go buy a whole gallon of paint or a quart of paint to do a trim job or a little job. If you do little stuff like I do, keeping some of this kind of stuff helps, because it's going to save customer money, which will help you get the job, and it's going to save you money. And then if you buy that on one job, you can, especially if you buy like a gallon, you might be able to use that on 5 or 6 jobs. So that's tile spacers, hardy backer screws for putting, oh well, that's rocks, but there's a bucket of, I think they're in here, hardy backer screws. So more tile stuff. Down here there's a ton of excess tile. I've got a whole box of Subway tile, floor glue, carpet glue, general purpose glue. You got to watch some of this stuff. I have had, I buy the buckets of pre-mixed tile for when I'm doing this kind of stuff, but in a bigger container for large format tiles. And I kept it for like 2-3 years, and I used it on a tile job, and the floor ended up leaking, but it was because the glue was no longer good. So some of this stuff you got to watch how long you keep it, you know, especially chemical kind of stuff. So that's what I keep in my shop. I've got another area where I keep my excess wood and trim, but for the most part, especially home inspections where I use most of this material, remodels I just go get it. It's usually too big to use any of these small things. But little honeydew list and home inspection repairs is why I keep a vast majority of this. Like I said, it'll help you save money and get the job, and you know, you can use it on your own projects as well. Also got some, this is just rods. Those 2 long rods right there are for the concrete trial. There's some screen rods or screen sides. Just all kinds of handles and stuff. That big gray bar over there is for a jack, jacking up a wall or replacing a load bearing wall. That helps. So let me show you the other area. Alright, so this is the other area, and I keep some of my larger tools back here. So my specialty tool video, this is where I keep a lot of that stuff. You know, pancake scaffolding, drywall lift, siding brake, propane tanks for some reason. This is where I keep my excess siding. A lot of that came from various jobs or my house. That's really handy to keep. Some of that stuff you gotta buy, you know, at contractor supply houses where you gotta buy a certain amount in order to get it. So it's good to hold on to that, especially for, like I said, that most of this stuff's for home inspection repairs or honeydew list. Got some aluminum flashing and stuff in here, some guttering, bunch of extra PVC pipe, some gray stuff in there for electrical out of Schedule 40. There are some sides for rounding out the edge of your flower beds. And then in here, I had this in the shop at one point in time, and I put it out here. This is all my trim. It stays dry back here for the most part. This used to be full of 2x6s and 2x4s, but I've used all of it up for home projects, so now it's really a mess. It needs to be cleaned up. But excess trim. And then over here I keep my excess plywood. So I'll come back here and get plywood when I need it for whatever I'm working on. I think there's a couple doors back there in the corner, but this is kind of what I keep and hold on to. And like I said, every couple years I'll go through and just purge all this, get rid of a bunch of it. And a lot of it I end up using on home projects. So it ends up getting used, most of it does. A lot of it I probably need to go through and throw out. Some of it I'll use on the farm for stuff. So you never know what you're going to need. And you know what the saying goes, the time you throw it away is when you're going to need it. So just wanted to show you where I keep and how I kind of organize it. Hopefully this helps. If you've got some ideas on what you keep and hold on to, or how you organize your excess materials, I'd love to hear your ideas on it. If you like that video, hit subscribe, and y'all have a great one. Thanks.